Hi, my name's Keith Brooks. Welcome back to the Super Game Show. What the fuck is called? Super Show. Super Show is what it's called. It's dark. Keep my eyes to the light. But that's also a good proverb to remember in this life. This is the show where I'm playing all of the games that Mario is in, or spin-offs of characters and side characters. Like if the Goomba on the second level, that's the sixth Goomba you kill, has a video game, I'm gonna play it. Like I'm doing all those, and we're like 9,000 in on these motherfuckers, and this is the first time we've gotten to an actual Mario game. This is Mario Brothers. It's not the Mario Brothers that you're gonna think of. It's the Game and Watch version of Mario Brothers, because technically on the list from Nintendo, that's first. So here we go. Let's do it. Let's go, as Chris Pratt says. Mario Brothers, released as a part of the Game & Watch series on March 14th, 1983, makes the debut as a lot of firsts within the mythos of Super Mario. While Donkey Kong marks Mario's first appearance, this game would be the first game to feature the Italian, not yet a plumber's name in the title. It would also be the introduction of his brother, Luigi Mario, and the first two-player Mario game, premiering 3 months prior to the arcade game that shares the same name but little else. The story is set after the events of Donkey Kong 1, according to the insert booklet, and it finds Mario and his twin brother Luigi working in a bottling plant for their boss, Spike, preparing packages to load onto a delivery truck before being yelled at for the lackadaisical work ethic. I personally thought, even while playing the game, that they were making cakes, but we can cover the potential reasons for that momentarily. Mario Brothers, like Donkey Kong 2, was a multi-screen release, but differing from the vertical display, this model opened up like a book, with a bifurcated view of the gameplay, and could allow for either one player to control Mario and Luigi simultaneously, or two-player control, where one player could handle the controls on the left, Luigi, and one would handle the controls on the right, Mario. In the 1980s, it was common practice for Nintendo to license out characters and Game & Watch editions to be sponsored by certain companies as a way to alleviate some of the cost of production, and Mario Brothers is no exception to that. The game was licensed to various businesses such as Poca, a Japanese food company, and Campari, an Italian alcohol company. Versions of the Game & Watch with such logos were only manufactured in limited regional numbers, thus making them a highly sought-after collectible. For example, only 500 copies of the Poca version were ever created. Nintendo manufactured in total 1 million units of this game worldwide. It was packaged with the game unit, 2 batteries, and an instruction booklet, and battery stickers. Mario Brothers, like all Game & Watch games, included a clock with an alarm. That's what the little bell icon is on all the play screens. The gameplay itself is about timing and time management. Well, it's about capitalism, but requires timing and time management to play. It starts, as most things do, with Mario. Mario must receive an empty pallet on the bottom level and place it on the lowest of 5 conveyor belts. As the empty pallet makes its way across the factory, it goes behind the divider cleverly placed between the screens, where a bottle is placed on it. Luigi, on the left screen, must then receive the pallet and place it on the 4th lowest conveyor belt, volleying it back to his brother Mario on the other side. The action continues, lobbying back and forth, incrementally becoming a complete assortment of bottled goods as Mario and Luigi scale ladders to accommodate the pallet's journey across increasingly higher and higher conveyor belts, until finally, when complete, Luigi carelessly and haphazardly throws this motherfucker in the back of a waiting delivery truck. When full, the delivery truck departs, giving Mario and Luigi a brief respite before it returns and the entire rigmarole starts again. It would be relatively easy if you were only dealing with one package at a time, but much like your mother, we're dealing with a lot of packages here. It's chaos, and regardless of the chaos, if you lose a pallet, meaning neither brother was there to receive it from the conveyor belt, and it comes crashing to the ground, not only do you score a miss, this game's version of your life being lost, but then your boss comes and yells at you with no opportunity to explain yourself or the circumstances. toxic work environments. Am I right? The player earns a point, like points even matter, for every pallet moved to another conveyor belt, and every package that's disrespectfully thrown into the back of a truck. You earn 10 points every time the truck is fully loaded and allowed to take off. As time progresses, the conveyor belt system gets faster, the number of pallets you have to deal with increases, and mass hysteria rules all. If the player manages to score 300 points without a single miss, the points then earned from that point on will be doubled until the player does get a miss. If the player earns a miss before scoring 300 points, after reaching the point milestone, all misses will be cleared. The game was featured in the Gallery Corner in Game & Watch Gallery for Game Boy. Both the original version and an enhanced version or remake were included in Game & Watch Gallery 3 for the Game Boy Color and Game & Watch Gallery 4 or Game & Watch Advance in Europe for the Game Boy Advance system. The remake contained updated graphics, inclusion of more Mario characters, improved gameplay, better sound, music, and a completely different occupation. The Game & Watch Gallery 3 update changes a ton of stuff. A lot of the technical aspects are already mentioned, but a lot of other changes are also drastic and significant. Gone is the bottle shop. Now, Mario and Luigi find themselves working at an outdoor cake factory. Wario drives the delivery truck, and Bowser periodically ground pounds the top of the packing machine to reverse the direction of the conveyor belts, which is, to be honest, a dick move. The only way to counter this is for Mario or Luigi to flip one of the two switches at the bottom or top of the screen to switch them back to normal. It will also revert to a normal direction if the brothers return all of the cakes to their machines of origin. Maybe some subconscious pop culture zeitgeist memory of this game had invaded my psyche to make me think the Game & Watch was also cake related. Or maybe the bottles just look like birthday candles because I have shitty eyesight? Who knows? But in the Game & Watch Gallery 3 version, the player does not earn any points for moving the cakes backwards. In this version, 3 points are earned for every cake thrown onto the truck. Plus, if the player fully loads the truck a total of 5 times without a single miss, they get 30 points. When a cake falls and breaks, rather than having a boss come and yell at them, Mario and Luigi make sad faces. At 200, 500, and 700 points, a heart appears for the Mario Brothers to remove a miss. Music is also featured in this version, with the tempo reflecting and increasing with the chaos of the assembly line gameplay. The modern version on the Game & Watch Gallery 4 operates in similar fashion to the Game & Watch Gallery 3 version, except now the cake factory, which I think it's just called the bakery, is located indoors. And instead of 30 points for each completed truck, you only get 20. You get paid more for exposure to the elements, I suppose. But if you choose the modern game on Game & Watch Gallery 4 and wait, just let the game sit for a moment without pressing any buttons, you'll activate a cutscene, or rather a bonus scene. In it, you'll see Mario and Luigi washing the delivery truck before Wario and Bowser team up to carjack it from them. I want to note here that I didn't play either the Game & Watch Gallery 3 or 4 modern versions. That wasn't the assignment. I'm sure I'll get to them eventually, but this was about the OG. And what did I think of said OG, the original gangster of Mario Brothers games? Well, let's go to the gameplay and summation to find out. Yeah, we're recording. Playing the Game Boy Color version of the Game & Watch Gallery game, the original Mario Brothers. So I'm going to reload it. Okay, I don't understand our controls at all. A makes Mario go up. Z makes Mario go up. Okay. Okay, so we lost the cake. This is so confusing. Fuck. That is so confusing. Okay, so let's try this again. Because you just have to operate both sides of the thing at the same time, and it just requires a lot of ambidextrous nature. Does it just repeat, or is that the same sort of thing? Forgot I was even recording. I was so mesmerized by fucking Mario playing with cake. So I've beat Mario Brothers, the original Game & Watch game, because it takes like 5 seconds. But it was a blast, man. And it makes me wonder if do I like video games a lot, or am I just very easily amused? Though I won't lie, there's a couple things that occurred. One, the entire time I was playing, I thought it was cake, but it was not cake, it was bottles. Mario's got bottles on bottles on bottles, clearly. And the other part was that, it was super hard at the beginning. That's what she said. But it really was. It was very you have to acclimate to it. And then it seems like two different, disparate sides of your brain are trying to operate at the same time. I sort of liken it to playing drums for the first time, where it's like, wait, this hand has to do this, but this hand has to do that. But like drums, it's just about finding the rhythm. They said that a lot of times that people would play this as a 2-player game. I'd imagine you have to be really fucking cramped to do that, because it seemed kind of small. But still, it was, that's also what she said. That's not as good. Yeah, I had a blast doing it. It was a lot of fun. It's crazy to me that this is the first titular Mario game. This comes out before the arcade game does. And that we get Luigi so fucking quickly. I thought we were going to have to wait a while for that. Mario's been in 2 games before we introduce his brother. That's 3 games, I guess, because Donkey Kong 2. Yeah. So, yeah, that's sort of insane. But I thought it was a blast. I mean, again, it's that simplistic sort of animation and gameplay. It's literally just going up and down and then up and down. And it's trying to keep your guys and watching out for not cakes. I almost said cakes again, bottles and pallets of bottles and glass and shit like that. Yeah, I had a great time. It was a super fun. I'm not being articulate because I don't think there's anything really articulate to say about this. I don't even know what this series is. I think this series is me just finding an excuse for me to play video games and oh, guess I gotta go play Mario Brothers 64. Oh god, gotta do it for those 3 YouTube counts. So I don't know, but I dug the shit out of it. It's a super fun game. So you should go play it. It's super fun. Bye.
Trap load in my belly, free my nigga really. Elijah smoking that smelly.